Hypercat. What I'm about to talk about here is going to be really annoying. Hey everyone, it's Willow here. And what I mean by that is the area of justification around playing small. One of the habits that I've noticed in myself, and I've noticed in the people that I work with over the years, this is a very normal part of being human, and I say this with a lot of care and a lot of compassion, and it's not in any way to see this as a criticism. But it's important to talk about it because we all know that there is greatness within us in whatever context that may be that's authentic for us. We all know that we are an important and valuable part of the world. Innately, we can tell that. We are a part of life. Life is valuable. And being that greatness is scary and it's challenging. However, we do have to be conscious of and careful about being aware of how we justify keeping ourselves small. So, for instance, I remember when I was beginning my coaching business, when I first started working with high sensory people, I knew that I wanted to talk about purpose. I wanted to facilitate people with purpose, and I used to get small groups of high sensory people together that gave me the opportunity to talk about the importance of purpose and how we can embrace and gain access to our purpose. I was aware that was a very, very important part of the work that I wanted to do, and of course it still is today. That's absolutely a part of what I facilitate, the alignment with the purpose of the trait in the world. But when I began, the level to which I was owning that within myself was small. And the way in which I was conducting the conversations and the high sensory people that I was inviting to those conversations, I knew in my heart were not ready to do the work that I really wanted to support high sensory people to do. And again, that's not to say that there was anything wrong at all with that. It doesn't mean to say that we're all meant to embark on our purpose. It takes courage, and not to say that they didn't have courage. I'm being careful with my words here, but but we have to be aware that we are designed to work with a particular person, especially in a coaching business. We have our ideal clients, and there were coaches that were better suited to support those people with their particular endeavor. But I was justifying playing small by having these conversations at this level because it was scary for me to really embrace and own what I knew I really wanted to be doing and honoring the true value that I knew I had to bring. So that is an example of how that can occur, especially when we're in a business as a high sensory person. It feels like it's easier to stay small. So this is one of the ways that we justify that. So for instance, in my case, it was easier to have a broad message out to high sensory people in a way that was going to be easier for me to get them into a conversation and for me to facilitate that. But it wasn't the conversation I really wanted to have, and I knew that they weren't necessarily ideal clients for me in the work that I wanted to do. But it meant that I could have these conversations more regularly, and it meant that I could support more of a broad range of problems that they were having, rather than the specific piece that I know I'm designed to actually facilitate. So by making these justifications, and and making things easier, we're actually making things much harder for ourselves later down the line. So there is this lovely phrase that I'm sure you've heard of, that the easy path becomes hard, but the hard path becomes easy. And that's what I really want to talk about. And this is why this video is annoying, because we have to get honest with ourselves, and we have to make that step into being honest about who we really are, what we're really here to do, and to begin to open the doors that are scary to open. But it actually makes everything much easier when we're honest with ourselves in that way. So it's just a little bit of a check-in, this one, just to ask yourself, what justifications am I making in my life right now that I think is making things easy, making things easier for me? And what is the cost of that? What is the cost of that? Are you doing that in your business? Are you doing that in your relationships? Are you doing that in your marriage? Are you doing that in your career in some way, in whatever area of life? It's an invitation to look at that, because the trouble is the longer we walk down the path of justifying things to make things easy for ourselves, the harder it is to get off that path. So it's just an awareness that we can bring into areas of our life that matter to us, just a bit of a check-in to see what can I do about that to shift me into a path that is more aligned with my truth, more aligned with my identity, and more aligned with my values. Thank you for listening. I hope this has been helpful. I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.